Hello and welcome to the Hungarian Grand Prix build-up. I'm Chaps. I'm here with Mike. How you doing today, Mike? We're here to bet $1,000 on the Grand Prix.
It would be better if I could just find out if it's going to be cloudy or pure sun in Hungary.
Mike,
That's all I want to know.
you're my weather guy. We don't
Yeah,
we don't
I'm
know the
just trying to
weather,
find
huh?
that out. Well, I keep seeing different things. What I just looked at, pure sun is what I was seeing, and then I found
Okay,
something else. It's like it's going to be partly cloudy, 10 to
interesting.
20% chance of rain. I don't know. I want to get an answer on that because I think that's going to make a difference between if it's going to be two hards and a medium or two mediums and a hard. And I think that's a big deal because I'm also your tire guy.
Well, and we know what do I remember? So McLaren has two mediums and a hard. I think Red Bull has the same, and
No,
just
Red Bull has. No, no, you're right. Yes, you're right. Yeah,
and
correct.
just I think
They ended up using
Ferrari
them.
has the same too. And then
Yeah,
others started using up their mediums, I think.
it does matter, right? If it's going to be 60-degree track temperature, then there's going to be a lot of thermal drag. And last year's, I think it was when medium, hard, medium, or whatever, two mediums and a hard, that like typical combination that was used last year might not be viable. And teams that end up having that extra hard tire are going to be benefiting from it.
Okay, so where is that? Where's that taking you? And you know what? I
Yeah,
should have
that's
learned off
taking
the
me
start. I'm extremely hungover. I had a wedding last night, so sorry for the voice.
in a battle. You're
I'm
fine.
in a
Everything's
battle. Hey,
fine.
last time when you went to a wedding, we had a clean
Yeah,
sweep. So
we had a clean sweep.
let's see.
It's a good omen. Well, okay, let's start at the top because I know you mentioned obviously that this is not a McLaren Red Bull concern. It looks like I think both of those teams are looking to deploy the same strategy that was used to win the race last year, which is the two mediums and the hard.
Hmm.
So, what do you think is going to happen here at the front? Do you have an opinion?
I mean, yes, I liked that Max again set up for race trim. They talked about it as much after the qualifying, and he's still right there. So, I mean, I immediately jumped to, hey, Max isn't in first. What's it look like for Max to win the race or beat Lando or a Red Bull versus McLaren? But I'm interested. Like, do you think that that's the smart way to look at it? Like, is Max going to win this race?
You mean like I don't? This might be one of those circumstances again where it's too difficult to tell. Like I don't. His long run pace was excellent. I mean, Checo's long run pace was like what the best on the mediums in FP2, and that was without the upgraded bodywork and the side pods. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what that tells you because the FP2 session in the extreme heat is going to be probably most representative of what we're going to see today. Right? Yesterday was cooler. The qualifying temperatures and the FP3 temperatures were cooler.
Right.
So the Checo medium long run pace, Max's medium long run pace. Then I think if I recall correctly, it was both McLarens actually went on the hard for their program. That's
Okay.
how they end up losing their extra sets of hards because in FP2 they were doing long runs on the hard tire. So it's tough to get a comparable
Mm-hmm.
because I think in FP3 Red Bull then did their long runs on the hards. They were better, but the track temperature was lower at that point. That's what this is all. It's not really flushing out for me. I guess is the problem. I don't know. So outside of those top three cars,
Mm-hmm.
there is a huge performance gap to the rest of the field, though.
I agree.
So I think that's also something that we need to be focusing on. Is that this is a podium? Like if we wanted to start
Well,
looking at
I
a
was,
TriCast,
yeah, I was literally
right?
gonna
Like
go to the
it's and you see
TriCast.
it's like minus money though. So obviously the books are seeing it the same way too.
In any order, it's minus money. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I saw. Do you think Oscar? Is there any chance that Oscar's not third out of the three?
I liked that. I saw Oscar plus 160 to finish third.
So I saw this last night. What did I have it at? Minus 120. Lando and Max. So you just forget about Oscar.
Well, why don't you just take like if you think it's going to be Lando and Max, then just take Oscar to finish in P3 because he's going to out of those three guys, he's going to struggle the most with thermal deg, 100%.
But he's also the guy that
That's
might get caught by signs.
yeah, I don't think he's going to get caught by signs. I think the performance. gap between the cars at this point is just way too big. I think Sainz is battling to keep Lewis behind him, and I don't know if he's going to be successful in doing that. But like the fight, I think these teams know. Nobody said it explicitly. Usually they say it, but I don't think Carlos Sainz doesn't think that anything better than P4 is possible. There's no way he does. He's not catching these top three cars,
Yeah,
right?
you're right. Yeah, he's 4 tenths behind. He was 4 tenths down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's just going to be struggling. I think he's really going to struggle to keep Lewis behind him. So that's that it's going to be, and that's when you look at the combo TriCast. I think it was a minus money bet.
Yeah, minus 138. But that's why I went to the dual forecast where you only have to take two of them for
No,
minus
no, I know.
250.
But so the opposite of that though. So why would you take two
Finish
cars
third.
to finish? Yeah, why don't we just look at Oscar to finish third?
Plus 200.
Plus 200. Okay, it's better than it opened at plus 160. I think I had that written down. So this okay? So
Yeah.
is Oscar going to win this race?
No.
Probably not. Like Lando has been ahead of him all weekend. In general, is ahead of him unless something happens to Lando, then Oscar wins.
Right.
But just straight up on performance, he's not going to win the race. Is Max going to finish ahead of Oscar starting behind him in P3?
Is Max
It's
yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's possible that they like McLaren is just superior. Like that, I think that the possibility of McLaren just having the better car here and all of a sudden it's Max or it's like Max in a Sunday drive in P3 is a possibility. However, I see the other like 50% chance that the other possibility is Oscar does a great job of holding up Max for a certain amount of time. Lando gets a lot of space. You have such an advantage leading with these cars. He's in clean air the whole time. And it's a Max versus Oscar battle for most of the race. And Oscar just can't hold on to his tires in a battle in 55, 60-degree track temp.
Yeah.
I think that's possible too.
I think
and
that's
then
possible
he just
too. But
consolidates third.
even as you were saying all that, that made me think, let's just go with the TriCast. If they have that big of a gap, then let's not worry about the order. We give up a little bit of value. Well, compared to Oscar P3, or maybe you do both. You can win them both.
Oscar P3, the combination TriCast is what? What does it end up
Minus
being?
138.
Okay. It's like a crazy.
I know.
Somehow that might be a smart bet. That's insane though. That actually might be a smart bet.
It's a crazy
Minus
line to
138.
have the top three. No, we don't have to pick them in order, but it's what you're talking about. There's 4 tenths to the rest of the grid.
They just have to keep it clean up front, which I mean, whatever. I don't know. Like,
Lando
is
and
that a
Max have hit
stupid
each other
risk to
already.
take? It's true that exists already.
Do you see
The
how
fact
cautious
the chances of
Lando was so cautious in lap 1 in Silverstone? Like he went wide in the first corner just to avoid contact with Max. So is there going to be an overcorrection? And he says, I can't do that again, and I'm going to crash him off. I don't think so.
is he gonna? So okay, we have to keep in mind too, though. Like Lando's never gone into turn one or come out of turn one on pole with the lead.
No.
So
never.
like, is he just giving it up to Max immediately, and it's just going to be
Or
like
is it Oscar?
this is worse than Oscar actually too? Yeah, and maybe you don't worry about any of that. You just take the three of them to finish.
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know. That's actually not. It's not a bad bet. I was looking at that and I'm like, there's no way that's enough value.
Well, usually
But the more that we talk through it,
yeah.
the more we talk through it, though, it actually might be a good bet.
I'm going to put it on the star list for now.
Okay. So you like that more than Oscar finishing exactly P3?
I might like them both. Like
You
the
might like
Oscar
them both,
P3 at plus 200 is great value to have as a flyer in there. And
It's
you
great
can
value.
win them both. And then if Oscar just has his best day ever, so we lose the P3, but at least we've got the combo podium.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's fair.
Or maybe that's too much at the top. I mean, we can look at other stuff.
Yeah, there's other things that I'd like to suggest, but I don't mind that because it's plus 200 is a good number for something that I think is like a 50% chance of happening. Really though.
This race is going to finish McLaren, Ferrari. Did you see or Red Bull in some order? I went down to most team points. It's minus 700 for McLaren. That's
I know.
That's the both of them up on the podium.
Oh no, but that's also because Checo starts outside of the points.
Yeah,
the Ferraris
but they're
are 4
saying
and 6.
Like,
Mercedes starts
Ferraris
out
are
of the
kind of
points.
there. Mercedes only has one car,
Yeah,
but they're
it's only
saying
between
McLaren
it's
stay
only
up
between
ahead
Ferrari.
of the Ferraris.
Yeah, they are. They are saying well, and they did make sense. Again, like you said, it's a 4/10 gap in qualifying to McLaren to the rest of the field there, so it makes sense, 100%. Okay. What do you want to
Let's see what other
have other
options I
things?
made. I liked some of the groups. Let's go to the groups.
Well, hold on. We were talking at the top. Could we stay at the
Oh,
top
okay,
for
yeah,
a
go, yeah,
second?
yeah. Where do you want to take me then?
So, combination podium finish. Will Oscar and Max finish on the podium? Yes, at minus 188. Like, is that a better? Is that better than the TriCast? Do you just take the TriCast
TriCast is minus 138, so we give up 50 points
to lose a car?
to not have Lando in there. I
And
okay.
I'm
I
only
don't
the
know.
only reason I'm saying that. Well, he's on pole. So like, he's on pole? Does something stupid and weird happen to him, and you just get 50 points of value. You save 50 points, or you lose 50 points of value, but you're getting him out of the equation. And if something weird happens to him and they touch and he goes off and it's just like Max versus Oscar for the rest of the race and you have both of them to finish on the podium, I don't know. You can't take Max and Lando because there's no value there. But you get minus 188 for those two.
I'm not saying it's likely to happen, but I think the most likely out of those top three is Oscar loses his tires and falls off the podium. More likely than
Which is true.
Lando having an issue on
Yeah.
pole.
No. But that's you're not going to get. There's no value there.
No,
I
but I'm
guess my point
saying
is like
for
how.
I'd rather take the extra 50 points and just have all three because for us to zero in on Oscar to be the one to get a little bit of or to give up value, Oscar's the one that could come off the podium most likely. I didn't say that very well.
See what you mean?
Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's right. No, I get what you're saying. Though, obviously, in the end, and there's
I'd
no way
rather
to
get the 50
extract value.
points.
Like the Max and Lando straight no, Max and Lando dual forecast isn't worth it either. I don't think. I think you're right. I think it ends up being the TriCast that actually is the most value,
I think so.
which is
And
weird.
again, because there's four
Crazy to
tenths to the
say.
next car. And this is a tough place to pass. It's not
Could
the
you
hardest,
just
but it's
then
low.
okay? So then okay, yeah. So then both McLaren's podium finish, I had it minus 200. So then that also doesn't make any sense. You might as well just take the minus 138
We get better value.
TriCast.
And I
Yeah,
do think
because
Max is a threat to win this race. Like you might be right where the McLaren's just the best car and they finish 1-2, but Max set up for race trim. And I don't know all the details, but did you notice that in qualifying some teams tightened their ducts because it was just a little they didn't need the cooling, but that might hurt them
yeah,
now today. Whereas I think
big time.
Max
Yeah,
just kind of kept it he kept it in a race trim like
yeah.
he's ready to go for race day.
He is. He always is. He didn't seem as Lando seemed really bullish actually after qualifying in some of the comments that he was making. Like I think he's very confident. So is Oscar in the car that they have, and they should be. It looks like it's the best car.
Yeah.
Max was a little bit less encouraged by it, and I guess the thing that's sticking out of my mind is that first stint that Max had in Silverstone, where the car was nowhere for whatever reason, and I'm like, is that a possibility here? And I think it could be. And if it is, I don't think that he's going to fall victim to signs. I think the
No.
upgrades that they brought specifically to this track to help with some of the slow speed stability, I think that's the right move by Red Bull. I just can't imagine that Ferrari and Mercedes are a threat to them. So it just brings me back to that TriCast, I guess, in the end.
I think as crazy as it sounds, a TriCast at minus money, I think like that might be the wisest way to approach this
Yeah.
at the top.
And I mean, obviously anything can happen going into turn one, but like those three guys in particular, so that you got the two teammates locking out the front row, who are, I mean, they actually had a conversation in the post quality interview about Bottas bowling and all that. Like, don't obviously
Right. Yeah, that
don't
was
do that
Hungary,
in turn
right?
one.
Right.
Yeah, don't do that in turn one. And Max and Lando have already run into each other, so like I guess that makes me feel a little bit better. Not that that really changes anything,
We don't.
but
Yeah, we can't. We don't. We never bet on. You can't be
no, I
scared
don't.
of a car to crash.
No,
It's car racing. Toto, we went car
yeah.
racing.
Okay, let's look at something. Kate, you want to take us to the groups? You
Yeah,
don't have
that's what I want
there's
to
no
do.
screen share. No screen share though, by the way, buddy. I don't know.
What?
Yeah, there's no screen share. I should have said that.
Oh, you're on
It's
the
so tied up.
riverside. We don't.
Oh yeah.
Don't tell
Okay.
me how to. No, actually, that's a good point. You always make comments if you think something, but we got the screen share everywhere else.
Don't tell me. He says. As long as it exists, I can't see it.
Oh,
Okay, give me a break.
yeah. I'm used to 4 screens. I'm on one screen right here. So don't. Yeah.
That's
Again,
true.
no complaining.
Yeah. Yeah. Fine.
Can you get it
Whatever.
on your side? You have your own book that you can look at.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. Yeah.
I just want to look at the groups.
So I had a couple that jumped out to me. Also interesting to note that there's 5 groups. Like we had oh wait, never mind. There's 4 groups. They just don't have a group 3.
1, 1, 3, 4, 5 or 1, 2, 4, 5 or
One,
whatever.
two,
Yeah.
4, 5. Never mind. Okay, they fooled me. Almost fooled me. So
What did you see here that you liked?
I thought Lewis was interesting in group 2.
What is that at now? I had
It's
that as
minus
minus
250
175.
now. What did I have it at? I had it at
Oh,
minus
okay, no.
175. So maybe not.
Yeah, we're not. Okay,
No.
so we're not taking that.
And I liked George in group 3 or group 5.
George in group 5.
Minus 163.
Minus 163. What about, sorry, what's the Ricardo group? What is that at right now?
That's George's group.
That's George's group. Hold on.
Like I don't know. George is back there, but where's he actually starting?
17?
Let me get it on my phone here.
That guy, you get Ricardo a plus 240 starting in 9th. Is that not, like, I get that George and Checo are back in that group. This is a difficult-ish track to overtake at.
I agree with you there. Like I wrote George. I wrote down George last night just while I
For
was.
George to be a minus 163 and Checo to be a plus 400 is kind of crazy, too. Because, like, if Checo's going through, like, George is only going through if Checo goes through. He's got to follow him through.
Checo's out there collecting data again today.
He could be. He could be just,
He's
again,
doing
the tire
exactly what
tester.
he needs to do. Everyone in the comments goes, "Oh, it's because he crashed in qualifying." Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
Of course
plan.
he did. Yeah, of course he did. Yeah. Okay, here's my point on the. Okay, so let's just. This depends, I guess, completely on what the weather looks like. But so my understanding is that, again, the difference between the hard and the medium here, like whether it's going to be 2 hards or 2 mediums, is going to be whether we got clear blue skies or a little bit of cloud cover, because that's going to change the balance of the track temp
Because the mediums just
to
won't
a.
last.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be too high of the thermal deck. And George actually has. He doesn't have 2 mediums. So actually, even forget about the. He doesn't have 2 hards or he doesn't have 2 mediums. So George has to run. No. He has 2 hards. Sorry, I'm looking at it right
Yeah,
now. So he could do soft, hard, but he's got to touch the softs
He's got
at
to
the
touch
back,
the softs.
which could be like that could have been part of his plan anyway, because he's got to maybe make up positions anyway. But he's going to have to come in early, and I don't know if that's going to be a problem for him in terms of making it last the entire race. Like those final few grid spots that he's going to need to beat Ricardo in that group, he might not be able to get because he doesn't have the optimum tire strategy in front of him.
And the C5 is not a good race tire.
It's not a race tire.
No.
It doesn't look like it's a race tire at all,
No.
right?
Interesting. So I
It didn't. It didn't use
the
it
name
last year
when I was looking at it last night. But you're right. Ricardo starts so far ahead. Now
Ricardo has some flexibility.
Is Hulk a concern for Ricardo? Danny's 9, Hulk is 11.
I mean, I think he probably is. But this is Haas has been self-admittedly has said that medium speed corners seem to be the type of corner spread that they're struggling now with the car. That they haven't looked bad all weekend. I just don't know if this is like kind of they're bumping up against the ceiling for them in terms of performance for the car. Like do both RBs, do both of the V carbs in front of Hulkenberg just create too big of an obstacle of this is 2 cars going essentially at the same pace in terms of their ultimate race pace. Like, is he going to have a big pace advantage over Tsunoda and Ricardo? I don't think so. Not based on what I've seen.
Yuki's not even in this group, which is interesting.
He's not even in it. I don't know. I guess maybe they didn't know what the condition of his car was going to be, and I haven't seen anything to suggest that he's taken new parts or anything like that. Let me just check that though.
Right.
Because him being there is pretty critical.
That is oddly my biggest concern is Hulk just could easily just get Daniel Ricciardo.
I feel like Danny, we've bet on Danny a few times before, and it's just never come through. That's not like that's also sticking out of my mind too.
I know, and I wanted
very
to look
low
at
hit
him
rate
for qualifying, and my point was I didn't want to pick between the 2 V carbs, and then it was like the last lap, Ricciardo's the only one on the track just to get ahead of Yuki.
Yeah.
But Yuki's not in the group. Yeah.
Again, this is not like we don't need to do this.
No,
but
I don't think I like it.
Okay.
So maybe there's no groups. That's great. That's too bad.
I like the Lewis thing, but then for him to fall to minus 250 is like
It's just
So okay. So how about this?
Okay.
Because I had this written down. Lewis Hamilton to finish in fourth. So if they're going to be like minus 250 that he finishes ahead of those Ferraris, like is he not just going to finish in fourth place and just be driving around by himself the entire time?
Or would that be finishing positions? No,
Finishing position.
Just the singular.
Just the singular. Like is he not gearing up for it? If odds makers and the public think that he's easily going to beat those cars in that group, then he's by himself.
I can never find this category. I love your logic. I'd love to see the line for myself. There it is. To finish fourth, plus 275.
I mean, if you're going to do that, I mean, if we take that bet, then we take the track cast, you better really hope that nothing bad happens up at the front.
We're just picking the top four, yeah. Well, maybe
this is a race where you could do it. Yeah.
Maybe we spice up like the V carbs both in the top 10 or something.
I don't like that. I wouldn't take that.
No,
but there are race. We have to go
something where
let's go to race match bets.
Chaos.
Yeah.
We inherit some positions.
Yeah.
So he's going to be battling Carlos all race. And
yeah.
Carlos is extremely quick, the number one Ferrari driver. But the Mercedes is probably the faster car, right?
I think that's what everybody's just saying. So the Mercedes is a faster car. Like they've been able, I think what they've done, given the weather this weekend too, like I think they've proven that sure the car maybe isn't as responsive or just doesn't perform as well in the extreme heat, but it's still, I think it's just a better car than the Ferrari at this point. I don't think there's any doubt about that. This is better. Lewis has had a lot of great history here. He's won 8 times. Like he's probably going to finish ahead of Sainz. And Lewis is, I think he made some comments this weekend too. Like he just struggles more in qualifying with this era of car than I think he ever has. So his qualifying performances don't seem to necessarily reflect how he's going to perform on race day. His race pace is probably, I said for sure, it's better.
Yeah, 100% it's better.
If he's minus 250 to beat these other cars, starting one grid spot behind Sainz, he's going to drive to fourth. So there's another way to look at this, which is the Mercedes versus Ferrari team match bet.
So I had that. You can't see
plus
where I'm
125.
Going. That's where I just went to it.
Okay, that's plus 125.
The concern is, what if Lewis is great and Oscar loses his tires, and Lewis finishes third, Oscar finishes fourth, we lose
sure.
everything. Whereas this,
so then maybe you
it's just like, let's just take Lewis to go get those Ferraris. He's only got to get Sainz.
Yeah, he's only got to get Sainz, and then if he drives a lonely race in fourth place, then we win the bet, which is great because we don't think the Ferrari. Yeah, and then Ferraris finish 5, 6, and we win my hot pick. That would be great.
I already won my hot pick. I'm hot.
Good for you.
I'm hot. I think this is the smarter way. Like, don't get me wrong. I love plus 275 on something, on Lewis especially. But I think this is the smarter way.
But if something happens,
that would just be doomsday if we're betting on him to be good, and he's good. And Oscar loses his tires, which we know he's going to do, especially if it gets hot.
He could. Definitely.
I'm going to throw this onto the list.
Okay, so while we're on this page then, I don't think I made this point earlier, but the V-carbs have the extra set of hearts. So if the optimum strategy becomes 2 hards and a medium, then the V-carb is in a really good spot. Danny and Yuki are in good spots. The team that's not in a good spot is Aston Martin.
Uh-huh.
And so I think similarly to George, I think they don't have the extra set of mediums. So my understanding, I believe, is that they are going to have to end up on the softs as well, just like we talked about George ending up on the softs.
Yeah. Now, where are you thinking of the fade on Aston? Is it the V carb versus Aston mash job?
Yeah, I see that as plus 175.
I got it at plus 150.
And now it's down to plus 150 so it's moved because people I think are noticing that there's some good value there. So you got both V carbs starting behind both Aston Martins, correct? That's the grid position?
Yeah, that's correct.
So
assuming Yuki,
last week Yuki
can start and he doesn't. I haven't seen anything.
I haven't seen anything yet either, but we'll have to pay attention to that. But assuming he does, I was very bullish on Aston Martin in complete opposite conditions in Silverstone. And also a different version of the car because they brought upgrades here to Hungary. We know sometimes those upgrades don't work. It doesn't seem like there was no feedback from Lance or from Alonso that the upgrades weren't working as intended. But I didn't hear any comments like I heard in Silverstone where the car actually felt comfortable to drive. And this is the polar opposite in terms of race conditions for them. It's like a 50 to 60 degree track temperature, dry conditions. And Aston Martin has admitted in the past that the car, for whatever reason, seems to just perform better in the cooler, damper weather.
Mm-hmm.
We know Lance is better in the damper, wet weather. So they also used up an extra set of softs. Not that this really matters because it's not the race tire, but they got into Q3, I think, by using an extra set of softs versus the rest of the field.
Okay.
So I feel like they might have just kind of like outperformed the natural pecking order from one lap pace 2.
Just because of the weather and qualifying.
Just because of the weather and qualifying as well.
I also like that right from the first session, they were in different setups. What was it? Alonso went back to a Silverstone stat, and both of them were saying this is terrible. Like I can't even give you feedback. So it all makes sense that they just got a strike of nice weather and qualifying. They're up there, but they're struggling and they're lost as a team. And they probably move backwards. Now, the beauty of the match bet is we only need one car to go get them. Exactly. We don't need both of them. It was 2/10.
It's a nice plus money bet. It's a nice plus money bet.
It is. Yeah, nice
the 2/10. What do you use? The 2/10 in pace is what the final ultimate.
Yeah, like between Stroll and Ricciardo.
Yeah, but Ricciardo didn't get to run his final lap, right? Like he didn't. You know, the Q3 result. He also led Q2. Not that matters either, too. But you're right. Like, but so I guess like that's kind of my point too. Is the way that Q3 flushed out. I don't know if we really got a true sense of what the ultimate one lap pace for either of those cars even looked like. Because Yuki was on what seemed like the engineers were saying for VCARB that Yuki was on an awesome lap.
Yeah.
And then obviously ended up losing it. So who knows? Yuki could have started ahead of Alonso.
I don't hate this. V-carb.
They definitely have one set of hard and one set of medium. Aston Martin. So they have to use the softs. Like, does that not just ruin your race potentially? Like, if it's going to be, unless something's changed from a track temp perspective.
Oh, I'm thinking
that might just
even without a tire delta, like the V-carb just might beat the Aston Martin in this race straight up.
It could just be faster.
I'm gonna put it on the list. While I'm on the race match bets though, I'm derailing a little bit. V-carb versus Haas minus 225 for the V-carb. The reason I bring that back is we were a little worried about Hulk versus Ricciardo.
Yeah.
In that, what was he, plus 400 Ricciardo in the group?
Yeah. I don't know, like.
Yeah.
I guess
Hulk is just such a wild card.
He really is. Like the only reason I want to avoid, I guess, him in general is because of the run of form that he's been on. And I don't know if we really understand like what the performance ceiling for this Haas is at the moment. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. Having not seen them on a track like this with the new upgrade package, I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, oh, and Hulkenberg takes home a P7.
No, I wouldn't be surprised. That's my
point. I wouldn't be surprised. That's the craziest thing. So I think maybe at this point it is just best to avoid trying to pick him.
Okay. Yeah.
Any bet that involves him. So if we just take Hulk out of it, like if Hulk wants to slice and dice the V carbs in the Aston Martins, then okay, go nuts, buddy. We're just hoping to have hopefully Ricciardo, I guess he's the lead car, finish ahead of Alonso and Stroll.
Yeah. I like this. The more I think about it.
We haven't had Lance. Lance hasn't like driven off the track in a while too. Like I feel like that is just.
But also this doesn't. Happen. This ends up. It's so much more likely that even if they stay in order for half the race, it's Alonso creating a train, and then we see like this will be on TV for half the race. Just the two V carbs and Stroll battling and Hulk battling, all behind an Alonso train until he pits, and then someone will go get him. This doesn't end up with the Aston Martins running away from the V carbs. There's no way
Well, the
that
nice thing
happens.
about that too is if they have to, like, if Aston Martin has to start on the soft, let's say like they choose, I guess you would start on the soft. If you have to run it, you probably start on it. So if they start on the softs, then they're going to be in
They
what,
pit
on
early.
lap 8?
Yeah,
I
you
don't
don't
know.
even have to.
Like,
You
what
don't
do
even
you?
have to get it done on
Yeah,
the track. You just get it done in the
no,
pits.
100%. And that's probably what both those drivers are thinking at this point when they look at the tire allocation.
Yeah. I did. I mean, I wrote down both V carbs in the points, so I'm liking the V carbs, and I like where they are.
Yeah.
But I think that this is way. Is it smarter? Both in the points was plus 200.
Yeah. Well, you don't think this is because things could get really like those point scoring positions can start getting filled up really. So let's say like George and Checo do
Checo won't.
come through.
George might,
Well,
but
I know
George is so far back.
you really don't think
No, dude, this
Checo
is
can
a
do it.
hard
Like
track to overtake. It averages like
yeah, it
30
is.
overtakes. Who's gonna be all of those?
That's a lot of positions to make up. Yeah, it's that you're right. It's a lot.
What I
But
meant what I
so
meant by
let's
my comment was if everything goes chalk, there's zero overtakes, the V carbs and the points wins.
with
Whereas
this
they
man,
actually
you got to
have to
keep
get
like.
something done on track to beat the Astons.
Sorry, let me go back to that point though, because was it not 2 years ago that George Russell started like P18 and finished P6 here?
Was that the bowling? No.
Oh, no. So like, or was that? Oh fuck, maybe I'm wrong.
I
You could
doubt
be
it.
right.
Just because I looked up the most overtakes per track, and this was kind of towards the bottom.
No, it's that. I mean, it is what it is. I'm just saying, like, it's. I think there's a precedent that it is possible. I mean, if there's chaos, there's chaos. But
Okay, let's stick with the match bet. I like them just it's more picking on the Aston Martin than it is betting on the V carbs. They're just there by
I'm
position.
I'm prepared to fade the Aston Martins again. I think that this
Yeah.
is not. These are not conditions that suit the car. Maybe not conditions that suit one of the drivers. And I think that they're going to be caught out by this lack of a medium and a hard. Like they don't have. They just don't have the strategic flexibility. Actually, they don't have flexibility. They're at a strategic disadvantage from a Tyler allocation perspective. So
Okay.
say Tyler instead of Tyler. Jesus, it's
I'm gonna
early.
let you get away with it.
Yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine.
Um, where else do we? So who's out of
I wrote down both Red Bulls, both cars points finish
for Red Bull?
minus 175. But you obviously don't think that Checo can get it into the points.
I don't want to bet on it.
You would bet on it, yeah,
No, I don't want to bet on
yeah,
it.
because he might be like all of a sudden he's like 2 laps down or something like that.
He'll go on the softs and they'll be like Checo. We just want to make sure. We saw the
Yeah,
Astons on the softs. Can you get us some soft tire data for Max?
we need to know.
Yeah, 2 laps down, P11.
Okay, so what about this then? This is a weird one, but Charles Leclerc to finish in sixth or worse, starting in sixth.
Whoa. So that's positions.
No, that's back to finishing
Oh,
position, same place that you were with Lewis.
that's very interesting. I like how you're scouring here.
He's
Sixth
like,
or worse.
do
Oh,
you
it's
think
minus
he's like
175.
so? Yeah, it's minus
Yeah.
175. Because you have every position behind six. So like obviously anybody comes out ahead of him, that's damaging to this bet.
Yeah.
However, if it stays chalk, he's starting in P6.
Mm-hmm.
He, I mean, obviously like the Ferrari and he in particular, we talked about his struggle with the understeer balance that exists with the higher track temps. It made sense to take signs in qualifying, so that was a good bet. So there's a very low percentage chance that he finishes ahead of his teammate here. And we already talked about how we think Lewis is going to be driving alone in fourth place. Who's getting him? Aston Martin?
Charles might have the loneliest race of the day. Now that we're talking about him,
And honestly, the shame of this bet is that
we
I
can.
just
Yeah.
would rather just be P6.
Just
Not
give
like
us
I don't need the
P6.
rest of the grid spots. I
Yeah.
know, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
The only thing I don't like about this one is you can't like we have to be careful with the bets that we take. If we ultimately are gonna take the combo tricast. Actually, you know what? I don't. The more that we talk about this, the less I like taking that tricast because there's just too many. But then if something happens at the front, then this bet loses. So there's no reason like you can't take both.
Well, we're gonna be because we still have Oscar P3 on the slip too, as an option.
We're gonna have to do a bit of a reset to like talk about
Uh-huh.
which of these picks is like I don't want to lose two because one thing happens. You know what I mean?
I 100% agree.
Like if Max and Lando run into each other, I don't want to be losing this bet. I don't want to be losing the TriCast. That's where the finishing position bets become very tricky, right?
Because, well, we're picking the finishing position.
Oh, I know. So that's okay. Give me a reset because we've got a few on the board right
Okay.
now. What are we looking at right
So
now?
the reset. So we got the combo TriCast of Lando, Oscar, and Verstappen minus 138.
Okay.
We have Oscar finishing position exact P3 plus 200. Merckx over the Ferrari, so Lewis to beat the Ferraris minus 110, and the V carbs over the Aston Martins plus 150.
I like both those match bets. Like
I
I'm
like the
leaning
match
toward those,
bets.
yeah, because they and the fact that they can exist, both of them can exist, and then we could try to choose one of those finishing position related bets. Okay, that's my proposal. Is let's take both those match bets.
Yeah.
Unless you want to look at the Williams, I had Williams over Sauber match bet for minus 188. I don't know if we wanted to even consider that
Let's
though.
take a look for the people.
That's Albon to essentially finish ahead of Bottas, but it's like I mean, minus 188 is a steep
I don't
price
really
to
have a
pay for the.
gut feel on it either way.
I think that like
Wait, minus
that Albon like
225?
oh now it's minus no never mind. So just ignore that. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's actually not worth it at all.
No.
Something Albon could just his car could just not work. It's not
Yeah.
worth it at all.
A
Yeah,
gust of wind.
yeah, literally.
So
Okay, sorry. So let's
if you had to pick, like, I mean, the lines justify it, but obviously for some reason the combo TriCast feels safer. I don't know.
I don't know if I would. I don't know if I consider that to be the case. So here's I guess here's the
It's
problem
three
is that
cars.
the concern about losing the combo TriCast is that they run into each other. However, the irony of that is every other bet loses that we've considered if they run into each other.
What, with the match
Right?
bets? Yeah. Well,
No, not the match bets. No. I'm saying so. We take the two match bets. Let's.
uh-huh.
I think we should take Mercedes over Ferrari. We have
Yes.
logic for that. I think we should take V carb. Those are two plus money bets. That's actually pretty sick,
Yeah.
right?
No, Merck is
So
minus
I
110.
oh, is it minus 110 now over Ferrari?
Yeah.
Okay,
Do you still
that's
like
fine.
it?
That's still no 100%. I
Yeah,
still
I
like
still
it.
like it.
It's still yeah. So then the bets that we're considering at that point are Leclerc to finish in sixth or worse, Piastri to finish third. I think you just take Piastri to finish third, actually, to be honest, or you take the combo TriCast.
I think we.
You just take the combo TriCast. Yeah, maybe you take the combo TriCast.
I mean, I don't hate them both, but you just lose two of.
Plus money, like even money, and then you probably take the one with. So then maybe you just take Leclerc. No, because
No,
we have to take
I don't like.
advantage of the
I
fact
don't
that
think I
it's
want
like
the Leclerc
yeah.
one.
No, it's fine. I think like we do need to take advantage of the fact that this looks like the top three cars are the best cars, and they're the top three cars. We do have to take advantage of that.
And that's why I really like the combo TriCast. And then there's this little thing on my shoulder where it's like Oscar's gonna be alone in P3.
Yeah, but don't. I wouldn't worry. My only concern would be: are we really legitimately concerned that something happens up at the front, and then you can't really think that way? So
You
then you
can't.
just have to take this minus 138. Like that's a kind of a gift, actually. The more and more I think about it,
So I think it's then the three.
such a performance gap. Like
Yeah.
it's a huge performance gap, right?
Is race match bets for finishing position or points? It's finishing position, but it's only one driver. So it's just the single car out of the four drivers to finish the highest wins the match bet.
Yeah, exactly.
Good question. Points that'd be
That
so
is a good
much
question.
math to do every time we looked at it.
That would be crazy. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like it, man. Take off Oscar. There's such a gap at the top. We don't care what order they finish in. And then you've got Lewis over the Ferraris, which I love, and the V carbs fading again or going against the Aston Martins, which I really like.
I just want to know if anything's going on with Yuki's car. Like that's if we haven't heard anything until this point. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. You could just last
sorry,
second.
I pulled up a tweet. I didn't tell you. When did he tweet this? Our guy Albert, 16 minutes ago.
Yeah.
He's
What
got
did he
this
say?
looks like official grid. So Gasly's in the pit lane, and Yuki's 10. So he hasn't taken a grid
So
drop.
then if they haven't, if he hasn't taken anything yet, then he's not.
And they're not
taking
going to put him
anything.
in a broken car. They would take the grid drop and fix the car.
Oh, yeah,
So he's
exactly.
fine.
Okay.
Gasly,
Guess who's fine?
Stupid question. Why is Gasly in the pit lane?
Who cares? Who knows? Who knows and who cares?
Hold on. I gotta look at it.
Power unit.
What's
Power unit
Alpine? What's
elements.
Alpine to like not have both cars classified?
That's that is a classic bet to consider.
Plus 300. You got one starting in the pit lane. Who says he even leaves the pit lane?
Well, did that not just happen? Like, was that last week
Yeah.
or 2 weeks ago? What is
Yeah.
it? Like Gasly starting in the pit lane, and he didn't even start. He did his install lap and then didn't start or whatever. I can't remember.
I'm gonna butcher your name. I'm sorry in advance, but yeah, it's just said this exact same thing. Do you just take Alpine
Yeah.
DNF?
Yeah. It's a great bet. It's a great idea.
This one's after my heart.
Yeah, $1,000 on Alpine,
Plus
nothing
300
less.
for them to not have both cars classified.
That should be an even money bet. Like
It should
that's
be. They're not
easily
even the favorite.
that's even money. I know. Who's the favorite?
Williams and Sauber
Okay,
are
we'll see.
tied, and then
No, well that I agree with.
V
Yeah.
Carb has plus 250. They're better. They're more favored
Yeah,
than
they've
Alpine.
been. I mean, outside of Yuki, a couple of Yuki spins and crashes, they've been pretty reliable. That hasn't been a problem. Is there anything else? Like I'm only just looking at. I can just take another peek through the book. Those are the notes that I made myself, but
I've got through all my notes too, and I like the three that we're on.
I like them too.
Like I looked at race leaders. It's too tough to pick it. Winning margin.
Yeah.
Like are any of these top three going to run away with it?
You know what I haven't seen though, because they didn't. When I was looking, they didn't have any fades up. Let me just check quickly to see if there's any fades that we like.
Like the top 6 fades or something like that.
Yeah, like let's see, like a podium fade is not like plus 175 for Oscar. Not to make it is not enough. A top 6 fade. No, see, there's like a massive drop off between Leclerc. So like Leclerc plus 275 is the only thing that you would ever consider, but that doesn't make any sense. And is there a points fade?
Points fade. One of the Astons.
Fernando Alonso not to finish in the
Checo?
points at plus 250?
Is it crazy
Checo? Well,
to
that's
say a Red Bull to bet on a Red Bull not in the points?
yeah, we're not going to do that, right? I know that you really don't think that he's going to, if he didn't have the most promising FP2 long run data in the representative temperatures and track conditions, then I would be maybe interested. But like and he's obviously fucked. Like he's fucked.
Yeah.
The guy crashed again, but it would, if something happens in the midfield, he just inherits all those positions anyway. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's plus 150. It's not really enough. We Lance Stroll plus 120. Like we already have a plus money bet on essentially that happening, which is the V curve getting ahead.
We're in the weeds.
We don't need
we don't need another bet on there.
No. None of that is standing out to me at all.
No. Oh, how about this?
What?
End of first lap position.
No, we're not doing that bet.
Mike,
you hate it.
What has never happened in the history of Lando Norris?
I know.
Oh, they don't even offer them. They know.
Yeah, that's a very smart idea.
They don't even offer them. And the options
he
are
could also just
Oscar to be second or better, and you have Max to be third or better. But you can't be like Max gets
minus money though.
Yeah,
I know what you mean. Yeah. Okay. Are we?
I think. I think these are the ones.
The combination TriCast is the shortest bet that we're at minus 138. Okay.
It's just.
I don't mind it. I don't mind the bet.
To the field this week.
I know it is the gap to the field. It's a crazy thing to even consider really looking at, but it's a minus money bet for a reason.
Now, do we just go even a third across the board?
I was thinking that maybe that is the approach. So let me pull those guys. These are the race match bets. Team. It's plus 150 now. Okay, so V Carb is plus 150. Mercedes is minus 110. Okay, so 334, 333, 333. All right. I mean, we could lock this in. The total return is over. It would be 100% gain if possible.
100% gain. I like 100% gain.
You're a big fan of that. we thinking?
I'm thinking how much I like that we have something involving the podium, something involving the middle places, and then something involving the last points places. I like how that's structured.
I do. I do like the distribution here. I like that we talked about the pitfalls of having a finishing position bet somewhere down the order, and if something happens at the top, then you can't have that. You can't have that overlap because it exposes you.
Yeah, and we
I
have
like
no
the
positions with these other two. It's just team
yeah,
versus
the
team.
fact that there's no positions is actually really great. It's just
Yeah.
finish ahead of the other guys, right? So,
And we're taking a
all right,
swing,
man.
but it's not really a swing
We're
because
taking
it's
this.
minus money on
No,
on a
no.
podium.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's like we got a minus money bet, an even money bet. We have a short bet, an even money bet, and a longer bet.
Mm-hmm.
I actually kind of I like again. I like it. I like the we get two shots. We have two bullets in the chamber for the V carb too. I know I get it's 2v2, but Lewis is a 2v1. That's okay. We think he's in superior equipment. We have this little $50 flyer that's sitting out there for the Mercedes or the Ferraris to finish in the top six. So hopefully they just sit back in 5 and 6 and just take it easy.
Just chill.
Aston Martins are too busy fighting behind them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Which one did you give the 4 to?
I just gave it to the TriCast.
Okay.
Okay. I'm locking it in. Fuck it. Lando, Max, Oscar, combination TriCast minus 138. Mercedes over Ferrari in the race team match bets at minus 110. V carb over Aston Martin and the race team match bets at plus 150.
Love it. Let's win some money.
The banker needs to approve it. I don't know. This is dumb. $66 needs approval. I don't know what this is when they do this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they can. It's part
We're
of your
onto
bet needs to
something.
be approved by a trader. I don't know.
We're on to something.
They're
Yeah,
like, oh,
whoa,
yeah,
we
hey,
didn't think you'd be on that.
oh, yeah, you like that, eh?
You want the combo TriCast? We made it minus money. What do these guys know?
It's the V card bet that they're like, oh,
Oh, well,
yeah.
that doesn't mean something's going on with Yuki, does it? No. We saw an official grid. I trust.
Oh,
Albert.
what do we? Okay, at this point, what do we like?
I trust Albert.
Yeah, you would. I think he would know.
The pre-show,
point.
the pre-show would be on already now.
Yep, I think he would know.
All right, let's win some money next week. Spa.
All right, buddy.
My favorite.
Yeah,
one
my
of
favorite.
for sure. Maybe my favorite.
Yeah.
So we'll be back. F1000. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe. And if you want, I should have said this earlier. If you want to follow along with us, we're very happy to have a sponsor with us. We have a link in our bio, signupexpert.com/F1000. If you want to check out what sportsbooks are our favorites, a lot of them offer free sign-up bonuses for new customers depending on where you are. And our relationship with Sign Up Expert can make it super easy to sign up for them all and get all that free money that's offered. So if you want to support us, you like what we do, check out that link. And like